Hey guys, it's Victoria. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be trying out the new Too Faced Born This Way Sunset Stripped palette. So this palette was just too gorgeous to not try out, and this is what it looks like. So just a very neutral palette. It does have like a couple of warm tones that could be really good for the summer and everything. So I just really wanted to try this one out and let you guys know what I think about it. So let's get started. So the first thing that I want to do is compare this palette to the Born This Way, the Natural Nudes palette, because they're both neutral palettes and I kind of want to give you guys a side-by-side comparison of the two. I do have a review on the Natural Nudes palette, so you guys can check that out. I'll link it below. But this is what that palette looks like. This is the original and this is the Sunset Stripped palette. So there are some similar shades you guys can see. But this one, the original palette, has a couple more like rosy tones in here, whereas this palette is definitely looks like a warmer palette rather than pink. Some of the matte shades that you would use as transition colors are a little bit similar, but that doesn't really bother me because like I feel like it would bother me more to have a palette that doesn't have those transition shades. Sometimes some people don't like when shades and palettes are similar, but these two palettes I think are definitely still very different. They just have some overlap, especially for shades that would be transition colors. The Sunset Stripped palette is definitely a palette with a lot more warmer tones in here, more browns and bronzier looking shades. So anyway, I do want to start out by just swatching a couple of these colors. So I'm going into the shade Sun's Out, Surfboard, Hey Honey, and So Hot. These are all shimmery colors, and I started here and finished with this color. Very highly pigmented, pretty shades. You can tell just by these swatches that this palette's definitely a more bronzy, warm tone palette, perfect for summer. I already have my foundation and concealer done, so we can jump right into the eyes. So I think that I want to go for a bronzier looking smoky eye type of a look today. Going in with a Morphe M441 brush, and I'm going into the shade Nude Beach, which is a matte nude color. And I'm just going to start by placing the shade on the outer corner of the eye, just setting a little bit of the primer that we used, kind of using it as a base. I'm going to go into the shade Sun Chaser, just placing this right over top of the previous shade that we used. You guys can see I am pulling this shade outwards at an angle along with the outer corner of my eye. And now I'm going into the shade Chai Times. You guys can see this is like a super warm, almost burgundy brown color. So that's going to really enhance the bronze shimmery colors that I use. I'm just going to place this shade. You guys saw in that swatch, it's super pigmented. I'm just going to place this shade, especially focusing it towards my lash line and bringing it outwards. You always want to start out with a light hand and then you can build it up afterwards. But if you go in too heavy with the shade, it makes it a little bit harder to blend out. So I always start with a little bit of product, and then you can always add more. How pretty that shade is. Today I was going to smoke this eye look out a little bit today. So I'm going to work my way up to this really dark matte shade, but I'm first going to go into the shade Cocoa Glow and just use a smaller smudger brush for this. Place this, I'm starting at my lash line. I'm only going about halfway across because I want the outer corners of this eye look to be a little darker, and then the inner half I'm going to keep a bit lighter. You can see how much that just adding that shade towards my lash line just completely smoked out that eye look. I'm just going to do the same thing on the other eye. Before I add any darker shades, I'm going Morphe M506 small blending brush, and with no eyeshadow added onto it, I'm just blending that shade in. And I'm just adding this same matte brown to my right to my lower lash line. Even connect the two shades on the outer corners. And going in with the shade Black Sand, which isn't exactly a complete black color, it's more of a very dark brown. That's perfect because black will completely mute out any of the brown bronziness in the eye look. So a really dark brown rather than black will probably work a lot better for this look. Just going to place this shade pretty much in the same place that we just added that other dark brown. We're just enhancing it. You can see the difference already. And going back in with my blending brush, I am blending all of those shades together on the outer corner to make sure that everything is seamless. But now that we have all of the matte shades laid down, you could definitely leave your look like this and keep it all matte, and that looks, I mean, it looks good just like this. But for the purpose of this video and giving you guys a review, I am going to obviously use some of the shimmery colors. So I just want to start by cutting my crease, just the inner half, to just kind of help enhance the lightness of the inner half of the eyes. So to do that, I'm just adding some concealer on a flat concealer brush, and this part isn't so much about definition, it's just to, like I said, brighten it up again. It gives something for the shimmery eyeshadows to stick to. Starting at the inner corner of my eye and bringing that shade up to my crease. Now I am going in with a flat Morphe eyeshadow brush, and I'm going into the shade So So Hot. I'm just going to place this shade right along the matte colors that we used. You guys can see towards where I just applied the concealer, I'm not bringing this shade all the way up to my crease line. I'm pulling it up at sort of an angle in line with the way that I blended the outer corners of my eyes. So when I get to about this point, I can bring it closer to my crease. But then when I move further inwards on my lid, I'm avoiding my crease. And doing it this way will just help pull out the eye look rather than just completely filling in all that space. I'm adding the shade Surfboard, which is this shimmery color right here, and placing that onto the inner part of the lid. But again, I'm not pulling it all the way up to my crease. On a set where I didn't really apply any shimmery shades, so I'm going into the matte shade High Tide and just setting that concealer. You could definitely do this before the glitter, but I'll just go in and touch up all my glittery shades after I apply this. And for my brow bone, I'm going into the shade Shell Yeah and just placing that. As always, I am going to add some inner corner liner using this palette, so I'm using the shade Black Sand. You could use a liquid liner, or you could just completely skip this step. It's really up to you. So for lashes today, I have these adorable Too Faced lashes. They look super long and pretty, and these are the faux mink falsies in the style Drama Queen. So we're going to pop these on. I don't know if these are going to be like super dramatic. They look like they're going to be super dramatic, but the thing that I like about these, I don't know, I have to actually try them on, but the lash band, sometimes with faux mink lashes, the lash band, I think, for me anyway, is just way too thick, but this one seems a little bit more wearable, so I'm excited for that. Sometimes the lash band is just so thick, and I feel like you can feel the weight of the lashes on your eyes, and I personally don't like that. Going to go ahead and add some liner to my waterline, and I'm also adding some mascara, and I'm going back in with a pencil brush, and I'm using the shade Shell Yeah, which is what we used on the brow bone, and I'm just going to dot that right onto my inner corners. These lashes are obviously super dramatic, but they're more comfortable than other faux mink lashes that I have tried. But now I'm going to move on to face makeup, starting out by applying my Benefit Cosmetics Hoola Bronzer. Then I'm adding my Kylie Cosmetics Translucent Powder. And I'm just dusting all this powder off. So I just added a nude lip, and over top of that I'm going to use this Too Faced Hangover Pillow Balm. And this is in the shade Watermelon Kiss, and I just tried this the other day, and let me tell you, this stuff smells so good. It smells like watermelon. It's like it's a lip treatment, so that's supposed to be like ultra hydrating and nourishing. I'm using this as a gloss, so I'm just placing it right over my liner. So this is the finished look. I'm loving the way that this look turned out. I think that this is the perfect go-to summer neutral palette. The shades blended beautifully. You guys already know I'm a big fan of Too Faced, but I definitely think that even though a couple of the shades are similar to the original Too Faced Born This Way, the Natural Nudes palette, this is a much more bronzy eyeshadow palette. You can obviously wear both palettes any day of the year. It doesn't matter, but if you're looking for a color palette that has more neutrals geared towards bronzier tones, warmer tones, then this is definitely the palette for that over the Natural Nudes palette. The Natural Nudes are your typical classic nude eyeshadows. So I love this palette. I love the formula of it. Definitely be one that I reach for throughout the summer and as it gets warmer, which I'm so excited for. If you guys have not yet checked out my makeup collection video, make sure you guys go do that. It's the last video that I did. I will link it down below in the description box. But go check it out. I went over my whole makeup collection, shared that whole thing with you guys. Super fun video. So make sure you guys go check it out. And I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you are new. Hit the bell button to turn on your post notifications so you're notified when I upload a new video. And I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.